In this video, we're going to be talking about self-doubt. What are you doing here? You don't belong here. This video is only for smart people. You're not smart. You're a fraud. Everyone knows it. You don't deserve to watch this video. Actually, you do. And let me tell you why. It's because you're amazing. Self-doubt is something that many of us struggle with to some extent, particularly when we're pushing ourselves out of our comfort zones. That nagging voice in our head, that devil on our shoulder that chimes in with its negative comments and undermines us. This is often called negative self-talk, and it can be crippling if you can't silence it. It will stop you from achieving what you want to achieve, and it can lead to having a very negative self-image of yourself. In this video, I'm going to talk about a specific type of negative self-talk called imposter syndrome, and suggest a couple of strategies for how to overcome it. If you've seen some of our videos before, you know that we're big on achieving effective change and improvement, both for you personally and for your business. Change often means stepping outside your comfort zone and facing new challenges. But whenever you're outside your comfort zone, you make yourself vulnerable. And just at the time that you're trying to step up and meet the challenge, imposter syndrome is waiting in the wings to strike. There are different types of imposter syndrome, but the broad definition is a persistent inability to believe that your own success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of your own efforts and skills. Have you ever had any of this kind of negative self-talk run through your mind? You're not good enough to be doing this. You're a fraud and you're gonna get found out. Everyone knows you're a fraud. Why even try? It doesn't matter how hard you work, you're gonna fail. The reason you're not meeting your goals is you're not good enough and you're never gonna be. If you ask for help, you're pretty much admitting you're a failure. Not pleasant, is it? But it happens to so many of us. Rachel's talked before about how stepping in front of the camera for the first few times really pushed her outside her comfort zone, and she had to overcome her own voices of self-doubt to be able to do this. But it's not just Rachel. For me, it was not the stepping in front of the camera that was the issue. It was the voice saying, "Who are you to be giving advice to people? What do you know about anything?" Fortunately, there are some things that we can do to tackle imposter syndrome and silence it, or at least turn the volume down. That's where I am at the moment. That voice pops up every now and then, but it's quiet. I can acknowledge it's saying something, but I don't have to listen to it or believe it. Do you remember at the beginning of this video, I told you that you were amazing? Do you know why I told you that? Because you are. The thing is, most of us don't really take the time to realize it. Both of the strategies I'm going to talk about are different approaches to realizing just how amazing you are. The more you accept this fact, the more quiet those voices become. A strategy that I've used for most of my adult life is having the habit of self-congratulation. This wasn't intentional. I think it probably started as a bit of a joke. I would overstate my importance or talents with my friends. If I figured something out, I'd refer to myself as a genius. I would play up the idea of having no humility about my talents. It made us all laugh. In writing this, I recall that I may even have elevated myself to the level of the new Messiah at times. It was just a bit of a laugh, an in-joke with my friends. It might seem big-headed to think of oneself in that way, but I didn't really think I was a genius, and certainly not the new Messiah. I wasn't deluding myself, just overstating the truth for a joke. However, what this did instill in me is a habit of recognizing my achievements and congratulating myself for them. Inadvertently, I'd stumbled on a way to combat imposter syndrome before it even became a problem. Any success or achievement, whether big or small, is accompanied by a mental pat on the back and usually an internal exclamation of, "I'm a genius," or "I'm amazing." And it's not always internal, it can be external as well. For building confidence, expressing your own belief in your talents to others can be very effective. Now, you may not want to go to that extent. I'm sure that when people encounter me referring to myself as a genius for the first time, they're not quite sure what to think. But I would hope that once they get to know my sense of humor a lot better, they begin to understand. It's not about deluding yourself that you're something you're not. It's just about using powerful language to regularly acknowledge to yourself how amazing you are. If you make this a habit, you'll see your confidence in yourself grow over time and the voices of self-doubt diminish. Now, this is a habit that takes some time to build, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. In fact, I think you'll find it quite a pleasurable habit to work on, since it's an entirely positive habit to develop. That said, when doing it, it is possible that the voices of self-doubt will get louder as they try to swat down your self-acknowledgement. If that is the case, I would suggest toning down the strength of the internal language you use to start with and build it up over time. Depending on your personality and what is going on in your life, your mind may instantly reject congratulations of "I'm a genius" or "I'm amazing" as being delusions. If that's the case, try toning it down to something as simple as "Well done, I did a good job there," or something like that, something that you can honestly feel without self-criticism. Over time, you can work your way up to "I'm amazing," because trust me, you are amazing. Sometimes though, you need a quicker fix for imposter syndrome when you're already suffering from it and need to conquer it quickly in order to move forward. Before I move on to this quick fix strategy, can I ask you to click the like button if you're enjoying the video, and why not subscribe to our channel if you haven't already at the same time? Can you think of someone who is amazing but doesn't realize it themselves? If you think this video might be helpful for others, why not share it as well? So, on to the quick relief strategy. This is something I picked up from The Imposter Cure by Dr. Jessamy Hibbard. If you do suffer from imposter syndrome and want to look in more detail how you can tackle it, there's some really great ideas in this book. The idea is to sit down with a piece of paper and write down everything that you can think of that you have achieved in your life, whether big or small. Don't judge what you write down or whether it belongs on the paper, just write it. It's a list of your achievements. Think of it like your personal CV. It's all the things that you tell a prospective employer, and probably a few more that are just your own private achievements. Once you've exhausted everything you can think of, look back through your list of achievements and ask yourself, what would other people think about a person who had achieved all of this? These thoughts can be used to conquer imposter syndrome because someone who has achieved all of this can't be an imposter. So if that negative voice starts to chime in, you can dismiss it as just a feeling. It's not fact because you already know the facts. You're not an imposter. An imposter could never have achieved what you've achieved. If you do make this list, don't make it just a one-off exercise. Keep coming back to the list and updating it with your achievements. Read through it regularly and keep asking yourself that question. What would other people think about a person who has achieved all of this? So, which strategy should you use? Well, I think it depends on your personality. One of the key differences in the two strategies is that the self-congratulation one comes from the inside. It comes from your own viewpoint, how you perceive yourself. The list of achievement strategy, on the other hand, comes from outside. It considers what you have achieved from the point of view of others, or what you imagine that others would think. So, if time isn't an issue, then consider what kind of person you are. Do you tend to derive your self-worth from others? Do you look to other people to affirm who you are? If so, then the list technique may be better for you. If you're more like me and derive your self-worth internally and don't look to others in that way, or at least not so much, then the self-congratulation technique may be better for you. Either or both of these techniques will help you combat the negative effects of imposter syndrome because you're not an imposter. Let me say it one more time. You are amazing. And you know what? So am I. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes just one thing is all it takes. See you on the next one.